There's something that nobody tells you, but it changes everything in the emotional game between you and a woman. Silence. Not that passive silence of someone who gives up, but the strategic silence of someone who has learned to value themselves. When you distance yourself, it's not just the physical space she feels, it's the psychological impact behind that action. It's as if every step you take away turns into a question echoing inside her. Did I really lose this guy? And that's where the magic begins, because what seems like mere distance for her becomes a mirror, a clear reflection that you have choices, that you don't depend on her to breathe, and that your time is worth more than emotional breadcrumbs. You're not disappearing, you're saying, without a single word, I'm the prize here. As she mentally replays every conversation, every action of yours, trying to understand where she lost control, you've already realized long ago that the game only has value when you participate willingly, not out of need. And that's when the tide turns, because the distance she interpreted as weakness now becomes a clear sign of strength. And this, my friend, destabilizes any woman who thought she had you in the palm of her hand. In today's video, you'll discover 13 things a woman understands without you saying a word. When you simply pull away, and I guarantee the last one will blow your mind. So pay attention and stay with me until the end, because after today, you'll never act the same way when she starts testing you. Before we continue, I need to tell you something. This video only reached you because someone liked it and subscribed to our channel. Now it's your turn to do the same. Leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell so this chain of knowledge keeps growing and reaching more people. Also, comment down below which city you're watching from, because I want to know how far this video is traveling. Now, no more delays, let's get to the good stuff. First thing, she understands that you have options. The silence of a man who pulls away says more than 1,000 desperate declarations. When you disappear from her radar, when you stop responding as frequently or simply stop chasing after her, she feels something that stings her ego. You're no longer the guy who's available 100% of the time, and that absence communicates a powerful truth. You're not alone in the world. You're not there out of lack of choice. You're there by decision. And if you decide to leave, it's because you can. What many women don't realize until this moment is that men have value too. They have the power of decision, and they are desired as well. But pulling away shows this in a practical and undeniable way. If you distance yourself and don't panic, it's because you have other doors open, other priorities, other possibilities. And nothing activates a woman's competitive instinct more than feeling that you might be desired by others, perhaps and worse, that you know it. At that moment, the perception shifts. You cease to be that predictable guy and become a mysterious man, a man with choices, and that changes the game. Because when you position yourself as someone who has options, she understands that now it's her who must fight to remain one of them. If you're tired of watching her play games, ignore you, and do whatever she wants with your feelings, it's time to show who's in charge of the game. It's time to make her chase you and recognize your true value. In the first pinned comment, I've left a step-by-step guide on how to make her pursue you. Plus, you'll level up and become the best version of yourself. Click now. Second thing, she understands that you don't depend on her emotionally. Have you noticed how overt attachment diminishes a man's value? When you show that your peace depends on her, you hand over your essence on a silver platter. But pulling away flips that script. When you disappear, don't beg, don't ask where she is, and don't try to strike up a conversation. She feels that she's lost that emotional control she thought she had. And that's unsettling. In that moment, she asks herself, did he really care about me? Has he moved on? And then comes the shock. She realizes that you can live without her. You breathe, sleep, smile, even in silence. And this emotional tranquility is something that messes with a woman's ego because it shows that your world doesn't revolve around her and never did. She starts to understand that you are whole, that you don't lose yourself over someone who doesn't put in the effort. And that's when doubt takes root in her mind. Did I underestimate this guy? The answer lies in the silence she can no longer ignore. Third thing, she understands that you know your worth. A man who knows his worth doesn't wear himself down for someone who doesn't show reciprocity. And your distance demonstrates exactly that. Self-respect. You don't say it with words, but with actions. When you stop accepting less, she understands that you see your own value, your own greatness. And that's disconcerting. She might pretend not to care. She might even continue posting forced smiles on social media. But inside, she feels the impact of losing someone who doesn't beg for attention. And that's rare these days. You become an exception, and every exception becomes a constant memory. When a man steps back and maintains his composure, he ceases to be just another guy and becomes the one she couldn't manipulate. And that memory lingers because deep down, she knows she lost someone who had already recognized his own value, even before she realized hers. Fourth thing, she understands that the game has changed. In the beginning, she set the pace. She responded when she wanted, disappeared whenever she felt like it, and you were there, trying to please, waiting for signals. But when you pull away, when you stop chasing after her, she feels the change in the air. The power shift is silent yet overwhelming. For the first time, she starts to wonder, do I still have a place in his life? This kind of doubt is uncomfortable for someone who has always been in control. She begins to observe your movements, pay attention to small signs, and stalk your social media. Why? Because she senses that she has lost control of the narrative. You become a mystery, and everything mysterious becomes more alluring. She realizes that if she wants to remain in your life, she will need to do more than just flirt. She will need to earn it. And this changes everything. Fifth thing, she understands that you stepped back because you got tired. It gets exhausting. No one can keep insisting alone forever. When you disappear, she senses that something that was once constant has now turned into absence. And that's when reality starts to sink in. He got tired. He reached his limit. This is a hard shock to accept. Women are used to men who persist, even when they are ignored. But when you break that pattern and choose to walk away without drama or fuss, just silence, it speaks volumes because she knows she had chances and wasted them. You didn't pull away for games. You withdrew because you realized you deserve more. Giving yourself to someone who only offers crumbs drains the soul. And when she understands that you stopped trying because you got tired, she begins to feel the pain of your absence much more intensely than she ever felt your presence. Sixth thing, she realizes that now she has to chase after you. She recognizes that the effort now needs to come from her. If she wants an answer, she'll have to reach out. If she wants to see you, she'll have to suggest it. And that's not what she expected. She thought you would always be there, easy, ready, and available. But you changed the game. Now the responsibility of making a move rests on her shoulders. This feeling is new for many women, especially those who have always been in a position of comfort, surrounded by attention. When you disappear, you create a void, and her ego will try to fill it somehow. The urge to know if she still matters begins to gnaw at her. She may not show it immediately. She might disguise it with pride or indifference, but internally, she knows. If I want to keep this man in my life, now I need to take action. And that's when she discovers the true value of your withdrawal. Seventh thing, she understands that you won't beg. There's a type of silence that speaks louder than any argument. It's the silence of someone who has given up trying to convince. Someone who realizes that love cannot be forced and respect cannot be begged for. When you pull away without drama or desperate pleas, she feels that you are no longer willing to crawl for attention. This affects her because deep down she was used to men who plead, who humiliate themselves, who accept anything for a hint of attention. But you didn't. You left with dignity, and that kind of stance, no matter how painful, leaves a mark. She begins to understand that you have a limit, that your self-respect speaks louder, and if she wants a man by her side, she will have to deal with someone who will never bow down for emotional crumbs. Eighth thing, she realizes that you won't tolerate scraps. When you accept little, you teach the other person how to treat you. But when you pull away because you refuse to be treated like a backup plan, she gets the message. You are no longer willing to live on emotional leftovers, and this changes the dynamic. She starts to remember all the moments when she could have done more, when she could have valued your presence, your messages, your time, but she didn't. And now, you're no longer there. Not because you wanted a game, but because you demanded respect. You show, through your absence, that you are not willing to stay where you are not prioritized. And this is a lesson that shakes the heart and pride of any woman who thought she could keep you close by offering the bare minimum. Ninth thing, she understands that her time has run out. Every woman believes she has infinite time with you. Time to test you, to play games of coming and going, to ignore messages and return whenever she pleases. But your withdrawal shows that this time has ended, that the clock has turned. And when this reality hits, she feels something unexpected: regret. She starts to realize that the cycle she controlled has come to an end, not by her decision, but by yours. And when a man decides to leave with conviction, there's no charm, no ego, no game that can fix it. The absence becomes irreversible, and that hurts. You didn't shout, you didn't threaten, you didn't make a scene, you simply left. And now every second of your silence is a reminder that she let time slip away. What was once guaranteed is now a memory, cold, distant, and final. 10th thing, she realizes that you've become a question mark, and that affects her. Previously, you were predictable, always there, available, ready to respond, to please, to chase after her. But now, you've disappeared. Silence. Nothing. And this plants the worst seed in her mind: doubt. Does he still think about me? Has he met someone else? Will he ever come back? And this doubt consumes her, because women deal better with rejection than with uncertainty. Certainty brings closure. Doubt breeds paranoia. When you become this unknown, she mentally revisits you several times a day. She recalls moments, thinks about reaching out, but pride weighs heavily, and the silence continues. In this silence, you grow, because mystery makes you more interesting. The uncertainty of your absence becomes a constant presence in her mind. What was once certain has turned into an enigma, and what was comfort has turned into desire. 11th thing, she understands that playing with feelings has consequences. She thought she could test the waters, disappear, provoke jealousy, ignore you. All of this without losing you, because you always came back. But now, the game is over. She begins to realize, perhaps for the first time, that everything she did came at a cost. That toying with sincere feelings can lead to a point of no return. It wasn't revenge, it was self-defense. You distanced yourself because you realized you were being played on an emotional chessboard with no clear rules, where only she won, and you decided to walk away. Now, without you there, she is forced to confront her own behavior. For the first time, she may grasp the weight of her actions, because when a man disappears, but disappears with awareness, a woman starts to realize how reckless she's been. And then comes the shock. I played with the only one who took me seriously. 12th thing, she understands that those good mornings are missed. You used to send simple yet consistent messages, a good morning, a how are you, a thought about you, things that seem small until they vanish. When they disappear, the emptiness emerges. Her phone keeps buzzing, but it's missing that notification, the one that held emotional weight she only noticed after it stopped coming. At first, she might feel relief. Finally, he stopped bothering me. But after a few days, the silence transforms into a real absence. She begins to realize that nobody else cares the same way. No one else has the same attention. That good morning she used to ignore has now turned into longing, and every time her phone vibrates and it's not you, she feels it, because your attention wasn't desperation, it was affection, and what she didn't appreciate before now hurts. 13th thing, she understands that you were there by choice, not out of need. She thought you were just another needy guy clinging to any scrap of affection. But now that you've left without drama, without begging, she realizes you were there by choice. You chose to give care, attention, and presence. But you could have chosen anything else, and now you've chosen silence. This impacts her ego, because it shows that you weren't there out of necessity, but out of desire. And when she started to confuse presence with obligation, you stepped away, because a man who knows his worth doesn't force himself to stay where there's no reciprocity, and that's when everything changes. What she thought she controlled now slips through her fingers, and your absence shows that your presence was a privilege, one she didn't know how to cherish. If this video made a difference for you, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Every video we create here is crafted with care, always aiming to help you develop and achieve your best self. We want to share practical and direct tips that truly impact your life positively. So don't waste any time. Comment below with the word gratitude and the phrase "in search of my best version." This way, the algorithm will bring this video to even more men who are seeking growth. Your engagement in the comments is essential for our content to reach those who need these tips the most. Additionally, your support through likes and subscriptions strengthens our work and motivates us to keep creating valuable content for your journey. The more you interact, the more men will gain access to this type of information, which only helps our mission to transform lives. Thank you for being with us on this journey. Stay tuned for upcoming videos, as we are always bringing new insights to help you evolve. A big hug, and see you in the next video.